Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our school board meeting for July 13th, 2017. Could I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Mullett?
Present.
Mr. Hennigan? Here. Ms. Heinz? Here. Mr. Derman? Here. Mr. Loop? Here. Mr. Harrell?
Here.
Mr. Nation?
Here.
Mr. Jeter?
Here.
Mrs. Seeley? Mrs. Drucker?
Here.
Mr. Bittencourt?
Here.
Mr. Womack?
Here.
Mr. Hersey?
Here.
Mr. Kuzan?
Here.
Mrs. Bellisario?
Thank you, Mrs. Coakley. Would everyone please rise? Mr. Loop will lead us in the invocation, will say the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Loop.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, please keep your hands on our meeting tonight so that we will do the best for our school system. Please keep our children safe over the summer. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Loop. Board members, do we have any recognition of visitors? Okay. We're going to switch up the agenda very briefly. We have Mr. Grant Sluter here tonight, and it is his anniversary, and he has his wife is waiting for him, so we are going to move to for dinner. And
She's been waiting on him for 45 years. So
43.
43?
40.
Congratulations.
Yes. So we're going to go to agenda items A. Okay. To consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution providing for the insurance and sale of general obligation school refunding bonds, Series 2017 of St. Tammany Parish-wide School District Number 12 of the Parish of St. Tammany, State of Louisiana, providing for other matters in connection therewith. And I think I will need a motion. Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Womack and seconded by Mr. Derman. Mr. Grant.
Thank
Mr.
you so
Sluter,
much.
excuse me,
I
Grant.
appreciate it more than you know. Item A is the latest refunding. We discussed it in committee. The underwriter priced and sold the bonds and locked in interest rates, and the net savings to taxpayers is substantially greater than what was projected when you gave your preliminary approval to this. Net savings from the refinancing, and this is the refinancing of the Series 2010 bond issue. Net savings to taxpayers over the remaining life of that issue, $951,000. And I might just mention that you had a handout in committee that where we keep a running tally of the net savings to taxpayers that you've accomplished. This brings you, since 2004, to over 11 million in savings to taxpayers, and that's quite an accomplishment. That's a total of 9 refundings. We still have another one in progress, so hopefully we'll be back in about a month with a successful refinancing of that issue also. But you're exceeding the $11 million figure now, and on these types of refinancings, as you well know, all of the savings go to the property taxpayers. The savings level, as measured by the State Bond Commission guidelines for refinancings, you've had a 6.45% present value savings level. Their guidelines provide for 3%, so you've exceeded it by more than 2 times. You had a affirmation of your AA bond rating, and of course, there is no higher rating for school boards in Louisiana. You share that with a very limited number of other school boards, and most school boards in the state have a substantially lower bond rating than you enjoy. And of course, we've talked about it before. One of the things that has helped immeasurably is you've had the discipline to maintain a good, strong fund balance. And the rating agency, Standard & Poor's, has consistently recognized that. So basically a very, very healthy refinancing. This has contributed to your ability to reduce your bond millage over the years. You've had a number of reductions. You had a reduction this year of 1 mil, and we anticipate there'll be further reductions next year. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Board members, do we have any questions or comments? Mr. Nation.
Thank you, Madam President. And I just wanted to make a comment to thank you, Mr. Schluter, for all the hard work you do for the system and for this board, and our underwriter with Raymond James as well. But also I want to continue to publicly thank Mr. Foltz and Ms. Prevost and the entire business team because of as you put it well, the discipline, the strong conservative fiscal discipline this school system has. And so thank you, Mr. Foltz, for all you do
I
to
might
make
add
that happen.
that is a well-deserved observation because Ms. Prevost and the superintendent have developed a relationship with the credit rating agency over the years, and they're very, very comfortable with the school board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Okay. Any others? Do we have any comments from the public? Seeing none, we will vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Abstain? So ordered. Okay, next we have to consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution authorizing the incurring of debt and issuance of $25 million of general obligation school bonds, Series 2017, of St. Tammany Parish-wide School District Number 12 of the Parish of St. Tammany, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Nation moved. Okay, Ms. Drucker will second that. Mr. Schluter, would you like to make some comments first?
Yes, this $25 million is the last series of bonds authorized by the voters in 2013. We anticipate that the bonds will be sold and will be delivered on September 28th. The funds will be in the bank, available for the construction projects. And just an observation, in 2013, as in your prior elections to authorize bonds for construction projects, you represented to the public that there was no projected increase in the millage rate to service the additional bonds. You have been able to do that, and in fact, you've also reduced the millage rate, not only maintained it, but reduced it. So this will complete the 2013 bond authorization.
Okay. Do we have any comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, do we have any comments from the public? I just want to personally thank you for all your hard work in helping us achieve this as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. Thank you so much and
Thank
have a
you.
good
Thank you,
evening.
Grant.
If you don't mind, I'll
Congratulations.
slip out. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, we're going to move back up to item E, special recognitions. Mr. Foltz.
Thank you, Ms. Mullet. Board members, tonight is always a nice night in the summer when we get to see a packed room full of people all happy here to celebrate and honor these appointments that we're making tonight for these administrative positions. So what I'd like to do is just start with the first one, and we're going to start with the principal position. And the first principal position comes for Lee Road Junior High. And tonight I'm happy to introduce to the board and everyone else the new principal at Lee Road Junior High, Ms. Kalinda Falteroy.
Good evening. I've worked in St. Tammany Parish School System for 23 years and have been blessed to have served over half of that time at Lee Road School. It's an honor to be given the privilege of serving there in this new role as principal. I look forward to continued growth as I work with one of the best faculties in our parish to incorporate new ideas into our already rich traditions. Thank you all for the support you provide us as we strive to serve our community. And thank you again for this excellent opportunity. I am excited and look forward to a great school year.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and being as I'm the first one out here, they took my picture away from me to give to you, so you know about that, right? Okay, well, you will. And this is your new name tag to place on your desk, so if you get so busy you forget who you are, you can look at it. Okay? Okay. Congratulations.
Our next appointment tonight for the principalship is the new principal at Mayfield Elementary School. Happy to introduce tonight Mrs. Carrie Sue.
Thank you to the board members, Superintendent Foles. I'm honored to be here tonight and honored to have been chosen as principal of Mayfield Elementary. I'm so excited about all of the things my wonderful Mayfield family and I will accomplish together in the years ahead. I would like to thank them for their support and also thank my husband and children for their loving support as I embark on this new journey. During this next phase in Mayfield's history, you can rest assured that we will continue to strive for excellence in all we do.
Well, I don't know whether what I said, the note that I got into the interview while you were in the process of being interviewed played any role whatsoever in me getting my heart's desire, but I sent in a note, and basically what I said is between now and the time that this present term ends, my heart's desire was to see you become principal of Mayfield Elementary. And so whether or not that's what did it, I don't know, but I got my heart's desire. This is twice now. I've been blessed, first with Arlana, and then now with you. So you've got your new name tag, and I'm at your disposal.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we would like to present these on behalf of Mayfield in our view. She's incredible. We're excited to have her as our principal.
Now, as we move to assistant principal positions for next year, first off, from Lee Road Junior High, the new assistant principal has been introduced is Mr. Peyton Montleon.
Good evening, Mr. Foles, President Mullet, members of the board, Mr. Kosei and Mr. Jabia's absence there, and Dr. Sanford. It's with great pride that I stand in front of you today and accept the Lee Road Junior High School position. I make a large promise to the Lee Road Junior High faculty, staff, students, and community to make sure that I fully commit, give that true 24/7, 365 that Mr. Foles talks about very often to those people, and make sure that we reach out to every student every day. I'd like to thank my family first and foremost. They're certainly giving me tons of support throughout the time that I've gone through this process of becoming an educational leader. Mainly my wife, and most of you all know my mother very well. They're certainly there. I like to cautiously remind them, though, this journey is only just beginning, so we've got a long way to go. I'd also like to thank Mr. Brady for always giving me lending that listening ear, offering that ever so sarcastically expertise that he has, and it always is well appreciated and always will be. I'd also like to thank Ms. Hanson, Dr. DeRoche, Mr. Rout, and Ms. Howard for all of their support throughout this time. It's hard to leave the CHS family without question. Once a lion, always a lion. But as for now, go Rebels. So, thank y'all.
conference you will attend this summer.
Excellent.
This is your plaque to put on your desk or whatever. Congratulations,
Thank you,
and we're
Mr.
glad that you can be in there with
Thank
us
you,
and
thank you.
helping out Lee
We
Road.
greatly
Appreciate it.
appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Next up, happy to introduce to the board and to the public the new assistant principal at Mayfield Elementary School, Ms. Shelley Bogran.
Mr. Fultz, Dr. Sanford, and Mr. Kosei, and all the board members. I want to let you know that I'm deeply honored to take on this appointment as assistant principal. I've been lucky enough to be a part of the Slidell community that feeds into Mayfield and previously Carolyn Park for over 25 years. So I have the experience to work with some second-generation families in the area. So I'm very excited to take on this position as assistant principal. I would also like to thank Arlena LeBlanc for being there to support me in the TRT position, and also for working with me to give me job responsibilities that kind of went above and beyond the TRT position to give me that experience to know if I was wanting to be in this leadership position. So I thank you for that opportunity. I also thank Carrie Sue for being an excellent assistant principal at Mayfield for the last couple of years. And I have some big shoes to fill, and I know that she's right across the hallway to guide me, and we'll work together as a good team. I'd also like to thank my husband for always encouraging me to go forth and conquer, and I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him convincing me to step forth and try again. So thank you. And I also want to thank my boys for always being there. And they grew up with a mom that put forth a lot of extra hours in her teaching. And so hopefully they appreciate that good hard work does get acknowledged. And lastly, the faculty and staff at Mayfield. I want to thank them for all of their encouragement, and I look forward to working with them as a team to go forth and do our best for Mayfield. Thank you.
Well, I have to tell all of you, if you get an opportunity, you need to visit Mayfield, because there's a level of excitement that exists at that school that's second to none. And I'm glad that you're part of that, and I'm glad you've been at 2 of my schools now.
Yes.
So I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you.
We're excited for Shelley to be a new leader in our school, all right?
Our last assistant principal appointment tonight comes from Whispering Forest Elementary. Happy to introduce Miss Brandy Kendricks.
Good evening, Superintendent Fultz, President Mullet, Dr. Sanford, and Mr. Kosei, and board members. I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to serve as assistant principal of Whispering Forest Elementary. I will not let you down. Like many other new administrators, being an administrator was not on my radar 10 years ago. I was happy teaching in my classroom. But Mr. Sachs saw the leader in me way before I saw her in myself. He was persistent in challenging me and had such confidence in me, way more than I had. And for that, I am forever grateful. The support of my family has also led me to where I am today. My husband and daughter were extremely patient and understanding as I began grad school, and I hope they continue to be just as patient and understanding as I start this new journey. I am blessed to be a product of St. Tammany Parish Schools. I had excellent teachers, and I believe each has had some part in shaping my work ethic and character. The faculty and staff at Whispering Forest have embraced me as a leader. It is a great place to be, and I look forward to continuing my career there. Mrs. Leonard and I have been working a lot this summer, and we are ready to start this school year as the leaders of one of the best schools in the best school district. Thank you.
I just want to say congratulations. I know you're going to do a great job. And Eric does have an eye for talent.
Yes, he does.
Thank you. And I'll see y'all when y'all get everything together.
Before we move on to the parish-wide appointments, let me recognize the two retiring principals that are here tonight. First, Miss Anna Bowie from Lee Road, thank you for being here and thank you for your work. And then also Mr. Eric Sachs, retiring from Whispering Forest. Thank you for both of you for being here. And Orlena's not retiring, she's just moving to the dark side. So recognize you as well for your service. So all three of you have done a great job at your schools, and the leaders that we're seeing tonight are taking your place or a result of your mentoring and your role modeling, and for that we appreciate that. So congratulations to all three of you as well. Now I want to move to the parish-wide appointments for the parish-wide assistant principals. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 appointments, and 2 of them will be starting their second year. First of all, I'm glad to reintroduce to the board tonight as she starts her second year, Ms. Adriana Benavides.
Thank you so much, Mr. Foles. Greetings, President Mullet, members of the board, Mr. Jabby in his absence, Dr. Sanford and Mr. Kosei. I just want to say how grateful I am to serve as a parish-wide assistant principal for a second year. It's a wonderful experience, and I just really look forward to great things ahead. I want to thank my family, who's been by my side and extremely supportive, in addition to my mentors, who constantly remind me every day that what we do serves a greater purpose.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely look forward to working with the students and serving the families of St. Tammany Parish. Thank you.
Thank you. How cute. Our second year appointment tonight is Miss Chantel McInerney.
Good evening, Superintendent Foles, Dr. Sanford, Mr. Jabby, and Mr. Kosei, Board President Mullet, and board members. It is both an honor and a privilege to be selected as parish-wide assistant principal for the 2017-18 school year. I am truly thankful for this opportunity to make a difference in the lives of the children of the St. Tammany Parish schools. And I am fully committed to working hard along with the leadership and staff of the school I am assigned to provide the best quality education for every child every day. Thank you again for this opportunity. It has truly been an honor this past year, and I'm so happy and excited to have a second year as parish-wide assistant principal. I was able to gain valuable experience. And I also, before I sit, I would like to also thank my parents. They're both here tonight.
Nice, very nice.
No, they want to come.
This is what you need to be on it. Congratulations.
Thank you
Keep
very
up
much.
the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Now we move to the first year appointments for parish-wide assistant principal. The first one tonight is Mrs. Donna Jones. No, wait. see what I.
Thank you, Mr. Foles, Dr. Sanford, Mr. Kosei, and Mr. Jabia, members of the school board. Thank you so much for appointing me to serve as parish-wide assistant principal. Over the course of my career, I've had the opportunity to work with many previous parish-wide administrators, such as Melissa Eason, Mimi Leonard, who's here tonight, and Kay Burns, just to name a few. I've always been excited to have them at our school, and by their positions and their leadership, I've aspired to fill that position one day. Luckily for me, today is that day. I would also like to thank the amazing administrators that I've worked under that have helped me to shape my ideas of what an effective administrator really means. At Little Oak, I've gotten to work with Kim Vanderklis, Amy Gattuso, and Allison Bolin as their technology resource teacher and part of their administrative team. They've each guided me, listened to me, and encouraged me over the last 2 years. Thank you for your time and patience, as I've learned so much from each of you. I also came from Bonnie Cole, where I learned a lot from April Owens and Kelly Ainsworth, who pushed me to know that I wanted to be here standing in front of you today to accept this position. I also want to thank my family, my husband, Gary, my children, Allie, Christian, and Brian, for their love and patience over the past few years and as we start this, this new adventure. Thank you so much for giving me this appointment today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, and here's an opportunity to learn the dark side.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Our next first-year appointment to the parish-wide assistant principal pool is Mrs. Julie Lupo.
Good evening. Thank you, Superintendent Foles and Dr. Sanford, Mr. Kosei, Mr. Jabia, and the entire school board. I am really excited at this opportunity that you're giving me to be an assistant principal in the parish-wide pool. I would like to thank my family. They've been my rock. My mom and dad, my sister, especially my husband and my 3 kids. They have been Mommy's biggest cheerleader. The other night, we got Chinese food, and my 10-year-old got his fortune, and he read it, and he said, "Mom, I think this one's for you." So I took it, and I read it, and it said, "Expect a job change in your future for the better." And I said, "Mom, I think you're going to get that job." They're always in Mom's corner. I want to thank my Tiger family at Slidell Junior High. I've been there for 17 years, and they've encouraged me, and I've learned so much as a teacher leader and as a part of our leadership team, being the TRT at Slidell Junior High. Thank you to Mr. Mackin for being an incredible mentor and role model, and his vision of always striving to want more and grow our school has really inspired me to become a better leader. Thank you for that opportunity to let me grow as much as I did. I'm looking forward to a new chapter in St. Tammany Parish Schools as an assistant principal, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. The future is exciting, as it always is with a brand new school year, and it is with my new opportunity. So thank you.
Julie, this is your official invitation to the administrators retreat and a few things for your office.
Okay.
I know that the parish-wide program is a great program, and welcome to it. We know you do a great job.
Okay, thank
Look forward
you.
to seeing you at Pine View.
All right, thank you.
Our next appointment to the parish-wide pool could not be here tonight, but I do want to introduce and acknowledge her to the board and to our audience tonight, and that is Miss Lisa Shackelford. So let's give her a round of applause. And our last, but certainly not least, parish-wide first-year appointment, happy to introduce to the board and to the public, Miss Jessica Venetia.
Good evening, Superintendent Foles, Dr. Sanford, Mr. Jabia, Mr. Kosei, and President Mullet, and fellow board members. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am honored and truly excited to be appointed as parish-wide assistant principal for St. Tammany Parish. Over the past few years, I have been preparing for this new chapter in my career. I am eager to work with other students and teachers within St. Tammany Parish and look forward to meeting and learning from other administrators where I hope to share my skills and ideas. I want to thank my parents for always believing in me. They never let me doubt myself even for a second. Thank you to my husband, Johnny, for all his support in celebrating my successes. To my 3 children, Johnny, Reese, and Harper, I want to be a role model to show them that hard work and dedication brings great success. To my mother-in-law, she's always there when I need her. Thank you to Mrs. DiCarlo for passing my resume to Mr. Ufnak to get my teaching position at Chafuncta Middle School and for welcoming me back to Little Oak. To Chafuncta Middle School, it's been a few years since I've been there, but I think about them often and I enjoyed every minute of being at that school. To my administration, Mrs. Vanderklis, Mrs. Gattuso, and Mrs. Boland. I'm thankful for all the leadership opportunities that they have given me, and they've allowed me to grow as a leader within our school. Thank you to Robin Day for sharing all your wisdom and secrets to success. Though they're not really secrets, she is always willing to mentor anyone that comes to her. Thank you to my one-of-a-kind partner teacher, Nicole DeChera. We created something amazing together. She was an amazing partner, and we made an even more amazing place for our students that wanted to come and learn every day. You know you have the perfect partner when you can know what each other are thinking through the windows of your classroom. Thank you to all the faculty and staff at Little Oak Middle School for welcoming me with open arms and celebrating my successes. It's bittersweet to leave behind a school like Little Oak, but I'm ready for the next journey, and I'll be able to take such great experiences with me. Finally, I want to thank all of my students that I've taught. You see, they thought I was teaching them, but the whole time, they were teaching me. Thank you guys so much.
On behalf of the administration and staff and the St. Tammany Parish School Board, congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Muller, before we move on, I just want to say a special thank you to all the family members that are here tonight as well. And in each of these positions, you heard them all thank their family, and we all know that how much families are involved in what we do here. And so if I could ask all the family members that are here tonight to stand up and please recognize as well and let us thank you for your commitment to our school system. And last but not least, it was mentioned, but I want to welcome back former retired Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Bill Brady. It's great to see him, and I know he supports each and every one of those here tonight, so thank you, Bill.
Absolutely, Mr. Falls. Congratulations to all our new administrators. I know this year is going to be just a wonderful year, and I know all of you are just going to add something special to each one of your schools, and we are just so proud that you're part of this team. So, board members, any comments? Okay, we're going to move on. All right, so we're going to come back to public comments. We had no one sign up for 5 minutes for public comments, but we do have Diane Bias for three minutes. Ms. Bias?
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to speak before the entire board, Superintendent Mr. Foth. My name is Diane Byers, and along with some of my team members, my husband Will, Felton Walter, and Colleen Sealy, we come representing Gin Jean's production, Camellia City Jazz Festival. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we're bringing to the North Shore. We've had the opportunity to bring the very first contemporary smooth jazz festival to the state of Louisiana. We have a 5-year commitment, and we have allowed after going around the country for the last 15 years to meet with these national artists. We paired them with our local musician, and the fusion was just extraordinary. So with that, we began doing concerts, panel discussions, concert series. And so we brought this to the North Shore. This is where you come in at. We have our educational portion of the festival. The festival is scheduled October 6th through 8th. It's a weekend event. It is actually promoted in 6 different states. But where the school board come in is that we have 2 different components, educational components. And so on October the 5th, we want to put together a panel discussion at Slidell, City of Slidell Auditorium, where our national artists who's coming down from all over the world to be able to present their art and to be able to present it to our youth, because we believe that the arts, performing arts, and jazz in particular is as important today as it was in its early years. And if we don't continue to present it, promote it, and preserve it, then we will lose it. And so the school system is a great way to be able to get that in. 2 things that we have on board is that, one, to have that panel discussion where kids from all over the North Shore, junior high or senior high school that has a music department can come in, listen one-on-one through questions and answering with this panel. Secondly, for the festival, we have artists around the region that is donating art pieces to us. And so what we're trying to do is get schools to come on board. These artists will adopt, the school will adopt an art piece. Donations will be done, and every proceeds will go to the school of choice that has come on board. It will be actually raffled off or donated. You have a chance to actually donate to that art piece. And so I have with us our outreach and educational representative, Colleen Sealy, who can kind of give, in the last 15 seconds, can kind of.
So basically, just to touch base on what she presented with, is that the artists will be able to donate a piece of art to the schools, and the schools will be able to have proceeds in order to have a chance to win, or any of the public will have a chance to win to have the art piece, and then all the proceeds goes back into the arts department, and of course, like the music or of their choice. 100% of the proceeds, we're just doing this to be able to offer, to have more funds go into the schools.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before you leave, I'm going to ask that Dr. Sanford get with you and get some contact information, and we'll definitely follow up as well.
Thank you, ladies.
Suzanne has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Kuzan.
I'd just like to say that I've been to a couple of Gin Gin's production, and they were fantastic. So just keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Ms. Sealy?
Thank you, Ms. Mullet. I would also like to thank you for coming and presenting tonight and offering this to the system, this possibility, because anybody that promotes the arts of any kind is welcoming in our community. We appreciate that tremendously. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move back. Now we're on track. We're agenda items, item C. We have approval of the minutes for the regular meeting held June 8th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Second.
Ms. Sealy, seconded by Mr. Jeter. Do we have any comments from board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. Item D, Approval of minutes for the special meeting held June 8th, 2017. Do I have a motion? Ms. Drucker, and, I'm sorry, Mr. Kuzin had seconded that. Any comments or questions from board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor? Aye. Abstain? So ordered. Okay. Item 8, appropriate retirement resolution for the following certificated personnel subsequent to June 8th, 2017. Mr. Kosei.
Thank you, President Mullet. Item E, appropriate retirement resolutions for the following certificated personnel subsequent to June 8th, 2017. Charlotte K. Joyner, Covington High, 41 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Jewel J. Varnado, Covington High, 25 years, 12 years in St. Tammany Parish. Anna R. Bowie, Lee Road Junior High, 38 years, 13 years in St. Tammany Parish.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Loop, seconded by Mrs. Heinz. Any questions or comments from board members? Any comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. Appropriate resolution, retirement resolution for the following non-certificated personnel subsequent to June 8th, 2017. Mr. Kosei.
Thank you again. Item F, again, appropriate retirement resolutions for the following non-certificated personnel subsequent to June 8th, 2017. Jeffrey L. Payton, Bonnie Cole Elementary, 32.67 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Kenneth J. Fashon, Honey Island Elementary, 18.57 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. Rita A. Hoswald, Pineview Middle School, 9.31 years, all in St. Tammany Parish. And Gregory S. Blackwell, Transportation Center, 20.29 years, all in St. Tammany Parish.
Okay, Ms. Heinz and Mr. Loop second that. Do we have any comments from board members? I would just like to say happy retirement to Mr. Payton from Bonnie Cole. He's always been such a nice man. Any comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. Thank you, Mr. Kosei. I appreciate you doing that for me.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have approval of recommendations for the committee as a whole meeting, which for Human Resource and Education, which was held June 6th. Mrs. Heinz. Oh, I'm sorry, July 6th.
Thank you, Ms.
Did I say
Mullet.
June?
We did meet on July 6th, and we have the following recommendations. Recommends approval of the revisions to the superintendent evaluation instrument. And I'd like to note that we did make that slight change of Mr. Hennigan's recommendation, moving item 4 from student services to management.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Durman, seconded by Mr. Loop. Do we have any questions or comments from board members?
I'd just like to thank everyone for reviewing it and say that I appreciate that we are able to have this new instrument. I'd also like to recommend that we submit a copy of it to LSBA because I know that we had looked at some of their, from other parishes. So I think it'd be a good idea to go ahead and submit it to LSBA. And I'd further like to recommend, and I mentioned this with the work group, that we as a board begin looking for board evaluation instruments and consider looking for one that we may use on a formal basis or definitely want to use on an informal basis.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Heinz. Any other comments or questions from board members? And I will submit one. Ms.
Thank you. I
Santaman.
appreciate that.
Any comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
The next item is recommends approval of the revisions to the 2017-18 pupil progression plan.
Second.
Ms. Seeley made the motion, Mr. Jeter seconded. Do we have any comments from board members or questions? Comments from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstained? So ordered.
That concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Heinz. Item H, approval of recommendations from the committee as a whole meeting for Business Affairs Administrative, held July 6, 2017. Mr. Nation.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a busy night. We have 10 items. The first item is to recommend acceptance of changes to the district handbook for students and parents for the upcoming 2017-2018 school year.
Okay, Mr. Drucker made a motion.
Second.
Mr. Loop seconded that motion. Any comments or questions from board members? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All those abstain? Motion carries.
Item 2 is to recommend acceptance of the reopener agreement between the St. Tammany Parish School Board and the St. Tammany Federation of Teachers and School Employees.
Mr. Jeter, I'm sorry, Mr. Jeter made that motion. Ms. Seeley seconded that. Okay. Do we have any comments or questions from board members? Any comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
Item 3 is to recommend adoption of a resolution regarding uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Derman, seconded by Mrs. Drucker. Do we have any?
Add to that it's a rejection of uninsured motorists in that resolution. Just in the motion.
Resolution regarding the rejection of uninsured motorist coverage.
Okay. Do we have any other comments from board members? Any comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
And number 4 is to recommend acceptance of Carolyn Park Middle School renovations as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendation, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, STPPS project number 1450.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Womack and seconded by Mr. Hershey. Any comments from the board or questions from board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
Number 5, recommend acceptance of Clearwood Junior High School renovations and additions as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendation, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number 1415.
Thank you, and I would like to make that motion.
Second.
Ms. Bellisario, second that. Any comments or questions from board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Number 6, recommends acceptance of North Shore High School interior renovations as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number 1436.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bellisario and seconded by Mr. Kuzan. Any questions or comments? Board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
Number 7, recommends acceptance of North Shore High School abatement as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number 1438.
Mr. Kuzan made the motion. Ms. Bellisario seconded that. Any comments or questions from board members? Seeing none. Any comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So ordered.
Number 8, recommends acceptance of Lyon Elementary School gymnasium and 200-wing roof coating as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendation, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, St. Tammany Parish School Board project number R0010.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Derman made that motion, seconded by Mr. Loop. Any questions from board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor? All those opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
Number 9, recommends acceptance of Mandeville High School practice field and parking lot as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, St. Tammany Parish School Board Project number P0138. Second.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Hennigan, seconded by Mr. Nation. Any comments from board members or questions? Comments from the public? All those, no, oh. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
And 10th, and finally, we recommend acceptance of William Pitcher Junior High School coil room building roof replacement and exterior painting as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, St. Tammany Parish School Board Project number R0016.
Okay. We have a motion by Mrs. Heinz, seconded by Mr. Derman. Questions or comments from board members? Seeing none. Questions or comments from the public? None. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? So ordered.
And Madam President, it looks like our schools are getting ready for the fall,
indeed.
so.
A lot of busy
And that
work.
concludes our report for this evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nation.
That's right.
Okay. Next, we have certification of board members. Neil M. Hennigan, Elizabeth B. Heinz, Michael J. Derman, Stephen J. Jack Loop III, Charles T. Harold, Michael C. Nation, Willie B. Jeter, Peggy H. Seeley, Sharon Lowe Drucker, Ronald Ron Betancourt, Robert R. Bob Womack, Robin P. Mullett, Dennis S. Kuzan, and Mary Kay Belisario in completion of 1 hour of training for 2017, presented on July 6, 2017, as mandated by Louisiana Revised Statute 17:53. Remarks, Mr. Falls.
Thank you, Ms. Mullet. Do indeed certify that the above-named board members did complete the training as presented on July 6, 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Falls. Okay, I do have some announcements. First, I know everyone left, but congratulations again to everyone tonight that got the new appointments. I would like to ask Jack Loop if he would please give us a report from LSBA. He had gone, and he said he has a report. So, Mr. Loop.
Thank you, Ms. Mullet. Yeah, just a few comments there from that Board of Directors meeting back on Friday, June 16th. Information regarding the conclusion of the 2017 regular legislative session and the second extraordinary legislative session was provided by the LSBA Governmental Relations team, updating us on those things that they observed from those two sessions. Important information regarding pending litigation that is pertinent to K-12 public education was reviewed by the Board of Directors. LSBA Legal Counsel Bob Hammonds, along with Executive Director Scott Reshaw, discussed federal litigation in regards to ongoing desegregation litigation in some school districts and the impact of charter schools as it relates to these efforts. Litigation relative depending on at the state court level in regards to how charter schools are funded was covered. Litigation relative to Act 1 of 2012, matters pending before the Supreme Court in regards to superintendent authority, school board authority was covered by the Board of Directors. Various other topics pertinent to the internal operations of LSBA were reviewed, such as documentation of the LSBA Executive Director's activities, Fiscal Accountability Association activities relative to National School Boards Association, and ongoing changes in federal education policy. So very informative meeting there. It was a pleasure to be on that board with those other directors.
Thank you, Mr. Luhu. I appreciate that. Also, please sign your Board of Ethics School Board disclosure forms. They are in your packets tonight, and Christy is here to pick those up tonight. We really need those. There's a special board meeting on Thursday, July 20th, for expulsion appeal hearings. The next committee as a whole meeting will be Thursday, August 3rd at 7 p.m. Yes, and I would like to An executive session has been requested pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statutes 42:17A parentheses 2. Do I have a motion to go into an executive session? Ms. Heinz moved. Mr. Jeter second that. Do we have any comments or questions from board members? Comments from the public? All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? I'm sorry. Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. We will go into executive session.